And we'll just start talking, I guess, like we always do. Just a conversation in which I update you about my week and all the things that happened. And no, I don't, because there's no point. You would be very boring, and no matter how exciting I try to make it sound, uh, the other thing people do is talk about current affairs, I guess. You know what the Orange Man said this week, and what country is saying what about what other country and all of that. And whatever interests you. uh but of course, this is a different conversation, really, in which it's essentially the illumination that actually there's nothing even happening, that this is nothing appearing to happen. um and the crux of that, what that comes down to really, is a lived sense of feeling like a you, a separate you. Um, Sorry, just look at my headphones there. My sound is a bit low, but you can hear me okay, I guess. Yeah, great. It's something on my end. Yeah, so it's a lived sense of you, and a sense of separateness. Um, and that's what we'll talk about. And any aspect of that is up for a question or discussion, any aspect of it at all. In fact, you can just say hi, or you can, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, no real rules here. Or you can comment on, video, photo, whatever. It doesn't matter, um, that's fine. But, at the heart of it, that's what we're talking about. Is it's a conversation in which you can we illuminate, or it is illuminated, that really there's no separate you, and there never has been. And we can talk about all the aspects of that: causality, time, space, whatever it is. It really does feel like you're living your life, um, until it doesn't. And then it's very simple. There's just what's appearing to happen.
Hi, Kenneth.
Oh, hi, yeah.
Are you already up for a conversation? Or do you
Absolutely,
want to
Laura.
say
Yeah.
more?
That just, no, it just kind of petered out there, didn't it? Yeah. Just words. Yeah. So absolutely.
Hmm.
How you doing?
Well, up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah.
Mm,
So the thought that came just up here is that we can't grasp, in a way, the immensity of this what you just described. Like this, it's like two different worlds. Like living or living with a feeling of I'm living life, for example, or this being lived. It's two different worlds. Yeah.
it is, and it isn't. It's not actually two worlds at all. There's just oneness. There's just aliveness. There's just whatever's appearing to happen. But it feels, when we talk about it, it certainly can be described as two different realities, you could say.
Yeah.
So one is uh, one reality that appears is the reality of you, um, and in that reality, that's a lived sense of you then. Like you're not a narrative or a story. You don't feel like a narrative. You feel like you're really there living your life, you know. Um, and it's the collapse of that then is the scene. There never was two worlds actually. You know, there never was two realities actually. There's just aliveness. And in that then that one appeared to be real.
Yes. Mm.
So like when the apparent individuals kind of thinking about this, um, it very much would feel, well, I'm in this reality of me because I feel I have a life. I feel like I'm me, or I feel separate, or however they would describe that. And then the only thing they can do really is kind of imagine another reality that we're talking about.
Mm.
You know, what else can you do? You know, I mean, that's what would appear to happen. So that's not wrong or right or anything. But the thing about it is, it's not imaginable at all. And anything you would imagine is just a concept or an idea.
Yes.
So the difficulty with the whole thing is that what I was saying at the start was that it's not actually two worlds at all. It's one. It's already one. And that's the problem, the apparent problem. It's already whole and complete.
Mm.
It's already just immediately whatever is appearing.
but
And
but there is an energetic but in me, and I cannot deny that. Like I
oh,
can
you're not being asked to deny it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. It's not a conscious or cognitive. It's like something in me, so to speak. I don't know. This is like language, but that it's just no. No.
yeah,
Yes, it doesn't feel like that. Yes.
yeah, yeah,
And I don't understand actually. Energetically, I don't really understand what you're talking about.
yeah. That's okay. Yeah, that's it doesn't make any difference really. Like if you understood, if you told me I understand what you're talking about,
Hmm.
um, like I mean, what would that even mean? How could you understand it really? You could like if someone says I understand what you're talking about, for me, it's that they could say that conceptually they've got a grasp on what's being discussed.
Hmm.
That's about as much as it would be
Hmm.
because you don't understand it. And
Hmm.
if you do understand it, then, or you think you understand it, then that's not what we're talking about then.
Hmm.
Because if you really understand it, then you're just in a concept of your absence or non-duality or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter what you call it. And that's the whole point. If you hear anybody who's clear and uncompromising sharing, it's the expression, or it's continually expressed that what you're looking for, what's being yearned for, is not graspable or understandable in any way, not even slightly.
Hmm.
And that's the thing, because what's being yearned for is simply already what's appearing to happen, but that's continually being rejected by that feels like you,
Hmm.
who is living in its apparently its abstraction, its model of what's appearing to happen.
Hmm.
And that's knowable then. In that's absolutely things can be known then.
Hmm.
Because I can know I can find myself in time and space and locate, and I can do all sorts of complicated measurements. And other people can too. Experiments, and they come up with all sorts of models, and we can discuss them ad infinitum. You know, we can just keep discussing about this person said this and this person said that and that, and we're just bouncing around that reality. And
Hmm.
we very much feel then that what there is something that can be known, and I can know it. And we hear from people who confirm that they know and they can teach you, and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
um, it can just be seen that actually it's totally unknowable, completely unknowable what's being yearned for. Because what's being yearned for is there not to be this sense that I'm living my life, and there not to be life and me, just to be aliveness. And actually, that's all there is already.
Hmm.
But there's nobody who knows that.
Mm.
Um,
Yes, and nobody who can teach that.
it's not teachable, because if it was teachable, then it would be knowing, then it would be knowable then.
Mm.
So there are no teachers at all, or, like it gets ridiculous then when you get into masters and gurus and all of that nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense. Like,
Mm.
there's nothing to learn. So when it's just a suggestion, that's all. It's descriptive, not prescriptive. And it's a resonance with that then, which is completely known already, and just plays out like it does. So as you were saying, you said energetically, I don't understand this or what you're saying or whatever. Like that's what's appearing to happen.
Mm.
You know, it's in some way it's been, maybe it's resonating there, what's being suggested, but not in a maybe an intellectual way. Maybe there's a sense of, well, I don't even understand why I appear to come back.
Mm.
And even from talking to you over the years, there was like sometimes this huge frustration comes. It's like, what's the point of these meetings? Like, I really don't see the point of coming here. I'm not going to come here anymore. And then, like a couple of months later, there's Laura. Hi. Apparently,
Yes, apparently.
apparently.
Apparently, apparently. Yeah.
And people are, it doesn't really matter why someone thinks they're coming anyway or not coming, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And people can kind of appear to be here for all sorts of different like reasons, and that's fine. But it's just, what I'm saying is, it just resonates as it does.
Mm.
And it can
Yeah.
be, the simplicity of this can just be obvious.
They like it's like I don't have a choice if I show up here or not. Like it's like
Oh
just
no, it's totally not. No, of course not.
no.
Like you thinking that you're attending the meeting is a story.
Mm.
So of course, then someone coming on and say, "Well, I've kind of had enough of all this now. I've been coming. I haven't got anything out of these meetings, and I'm not going to come back." So then, not appearing to attend the meeting would appear to happen, but it would all, there would be a sense that there's someone in there who's controlling
Mm.
what's appearing to happen. And that's like we feel when we feel we're living our lives, that we're there in the
Yeah.
control center, making decisions about what we do or don't do, and then reaping the rewards, or paying the consequence or whatever for these things. And it
Yeah.
all feels so linear and causal and real, and all of it is a narrative. It's just
Yeah.
all a story. So it's unimaginable by the individual what I'm suggesting, or what's being suggested here. Could not be imagined. It's too simple and immediate and indescribable and unknowable.
Yes.
It
And the
just doesn't appear to happen.
yeah, and the uncontrollableness, so to speak, that is like that has become pretty obvious. Like alone when I look like into the course of the last 6 years, it would if there would have been any control. It's not no things are happening in such a crazy chaotic seemingly crazy chaotic way, and it's like there is really no control in life. It's zero, like really zero. That was at least almost like pointed out by life to me, so to speak. Like yeah.
Well,
So
yeah, the invitation is constant.
yeah.
There's always the invitation to see that you're not living your life. There's just aliveness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it can be very, so for me it can be at times, I say at times, feel extremely lonely, and extremely painful. So it feels as if the tolerance has been broadened in a way to like, so I would say like 5 years ago or so I would have not been able, like, it's like pain is like getting stronger, like all the not previously not wanted aspects of life, they I don't know, they are just more intense in a way now. That's how it feels, at least. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And but there is also less fighting against what's happening. There's less fighting. There's more like, oh yeah, that's, it's more pure. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 But for a lot of, let's say, my previous acquaintances, that is, I would say, uh, not understandable. So they would then expect from me that I do something about my life, so to speak, or that I change something in order to feel, for example, different. Or they would say, "Oh, you wanted it that way, right? So now deal with it," or whatever. Like, and this is not happening in these kind of conversations, and that's quite, I don't know, very sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Like it's the shift from the full on to full on aliveness, from a sense of being going from one kind of experience, a state, to another. And in that, then there's a management of uh, your life, and a management of um, pain, kind of a dealing with it, pushing it away in some way, managing it,
Yeah, and that
and all of that.
management has been diminished here,
Yeah. Yeah. And
quite strongly diminished.
yeah. And that's it. It's just there's the full on aliveness, as whatever full on aliveness appears to be, as an apparent problem, pain, whatever it is, that it's everything. That's the all embracing
Yes.
stunningness of it, full on aliveness of it. Um,
Yeah.
and that's, we think we want that, but it's what we want is our version of it,
Yes.
which we can control then.
Yes.
That's what we want. And
Yes.
that's what we're essentially doing, is we're living in our version of life,
Mm.
our model of reality. That it's loads in the scientific area. There's loads of research and study gone into this, and it's a convergence of AI and different things. But like, it's very, very clear that there's no you. There never has been. So how is it that you kind of live in this model of your reality? You know, but the vast majority would just feel that they're just living their lives. It's that simple. They don't, it's not my model of reality, it's reality. So then they meet people and they disagree about things maybe, and they try and overpower them with a barrage of facts and different studies and different things, try and convince them to think the same, or to maybe affect their behavior, that they would behave differently. And
Mm.
that happens a lot, of course, in friendship, because friendship is conditional.
Mm.
There's conditions on these things we call relationships. It's a meeting of needs in which you're supposed to play a certain role, and it's a lot of it is completely it's not discussed um, openly, but
Yes.
it's a sense that really this is what we have this like kind of contract, and this is how I meet your needs, and this is how you meet mine, and nothing's wrong. That's just aliveness doing that. But then when certain roles stop or certain things stop, then there can be enormous tension, maybe sometimes for the one that feels you're not paying your part of the
Yeah.
contract. Um, and the freedom really is to see that there's not actually really anything there. So because of course there isn't, because all there is energy appearing as friendship, whatever. And sometimes all of these things just totally and utterly collapse. And that would actually be unconditional love. Whereas the individual would feel it as a really felt loss,
Yes.
you know,
The failure.
a
Yes, yes.
failure or loss, or blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
I lost this friend or lost that group of friends or blah blah blah, and have a whole narrative on it. And whereas if you didn't feel like an individual, they could equally be sadness or pain or whatever, but it's just seen as unconditional love because actually there was nothing. It was all a story.
Mm,
It was all a story that really I was kind of doing this to keep you happy, and you were doing that to keep me happy, in a
yeah.
way. And so life just friendships then. It
Mm,
either appears to friendship or it doesn't.
mm,
But who cares?
mm.
Um, but yeah, lots of people expect lots of things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's okay too. French, like, isn't it a beautiful thing? Friendship, really, in a sense, isn't it a mysterious energy?
Yeah.
You can't really bring it about. Like, you certainly can't force it. The more you do, the more you push it away. Actually,
Yeah.
uh, and same as like what we call a relationship.
Yeah.
With a partnership, um, and the more you try and make it into something, the more strain you apparently put on it.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, and it's just all it's just it's just a scene that none of it needs to be known, or you could have all sorts of insights about all sorts of stuff, but so what.
Mm.
um there's just what's appearing to happen.
Mm.
Hey Kenneth.
Hey, Brian.
So getting a bit of a sense here that it happens more often that there's a like a defense like at play. Like, I'm trying to defend, like something is trying to defend itself, and it always thinks it's defending love or something, or it's defending something really precious that like is gonna get taken away. And maybe it's a teaching or um well, the sense here is it thinks it's love that it's defending, like, and it has to like contract and sort of like hear the message, but like dodge things that, yeah, so that it doesn't have everything taken away or something.
Yeah.
And it seems to really get in the way of the hearing of this because if that's the whole narrative, then takes up like the whole screen. It's just
No, just another way of seeing it is it's not it's not really getting in the way of anything. It's just what's appearing to happen. So that's what's appearing to happen. So like feeling threatened by it, that and having some sort of abstract idea about love and different things, really it's just the sense of self, really. And that sense of self is a narrative that's woven together by all sorts of, it's an energetic contraction, but there's a narrative about um, the way the life is or could be or should be, and different belief, uh,
Mm,
and and when you talk, that's what I get a sense of. There's been these concepts that have kind of been taken on a little bit, some of them kind of almost sacred, spiritual maybe, or sacred, and then maybe when
mm.
there's a resonance with what this is, what's been said here, but at the same time then it feels that, but there's a that involves a loss of all of that other, um which most of it I feel
Yeah.
would be like kind of more along the lines of the teaching, really. um and really just another way to see that is that that's what's appearing to happen. It's that simple. That's just what's appearing to happen, and it's the sense really of the end of you. That's what it is. So of course the sense of you doesn't like the sense of the end of itself. Will feel very unnerved by that, actually. So then we'll reject what's been said, really, or feel it quite uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's so wild because it's so crazy how this whatever this thing is, how it runs, because I experienced seemingly a lot of like suffering or discomfort. And then from that, over the last week, and then from that, there was just like a sense of like surrender or giving it over. Um, and then, um, and then right away, like it just, like just contracts again and
Yeah,
just
because
goes like, I got,
yeah,
like,
it's a story, really.
why?
It's all a story. Like the sense of surrender and everything. There's kind of, I get the sense, it's like as if there's someone in there doing that. There isn't, you know.
I gotta be
It's
this.
it's 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 just it's too immediate to be described or known what we're talking about. It's just so inescapable and immediate. And there's a tendency there to just get very, very abstract on it and have all these different kind of and a kind of wanting to fit it into some sort of knowing, well, this is what's happening now or whatever. None of that's wrong or right. That's just what's appearing to happen.
Hmm,
Like, and a
hmm.
sense that, like, I know what you're saying as well, a sense that I'm being blocked from hearing this fully because of whatever. And it's really like, eh, another
Hmm.
way of seeing it is, it's actually because you can't really hear this. Like, you, when I say you, I mean the apparent individual cannot hear this at all. That's why I'm not talking to anybody. That's why
I'll
that's the
say thank
thing.
God, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Like, you know, like, well, how could the individual hear this at all? You couldn't. It just hears some sort of version of it that maintains the sense of being me, or totally rejects it outright or in some way. Can't be heard by the individual.
Yeah, just the it can only go thought to thought.
Well, yeah, it's like it can only kind of, if the individual is a filter, say, it just filters what's said through me, and compartmentalizes it, and knows it in some way, and just fits it into its sense of its narrative of me. So, you know, but not that's
Wow.
just what's appearing to happen. That doesn't matter. So that, like I was saying in the beginning there, it doesn't matter why someone thinks they're at the meeting or thinks that they're coming here or not coming here or whatever. And all sorts of motives can appear to arise, So what?
Probably got some ulterior motives, yeah.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I
It's
don't know
just
what they
there's
are.
just it's just very simple. There's not actually really a meeting. And that's simply because this is nothing appearing as everything. So it's wholeness, it's complete whole aliveness. And that aliveness appears as a meeting. It's only can be really real when you feel really real. Then it's a meeting that started and at this time and will end at that time and blah, blah, blah. But that's the same for everything. Like that's why this can really, if it resonates, it might not be during a Zoom meeting or an in-person meeting. It might be like, on the bus the next day or opening a door or scratching your face or brushing your teeth or often it's something very mundane. Not necessarily, but it can be. And it's just that sense that there's a you there that's doing everything, just can be just not there, possibly.
Hi, Kenneth.
All right, Kevin.
Would you say the wholeness is nothing?
Yeah, absolutely. Like all there is nothing energy, and that is everything. So they're not two. There's not everything and nothing in the exact same way that we have this illusion that there's a thing called life and a thing called death. Very same.
Mm-hmm.
And that sense that there's a thing called life and a thing called death or a thing called nothing, it's even like nothing can't be imagined. You do make it into something to think of it as nothing. But that whole dichotomous dualistic reality is from an energetic sense of your separation. And then that just all feels real then. So like really, it is what we're talking about here is a loss of everything, complete total loss. Whereas logically you feel that there's something missing. So then it's totally logic then that you feel that you could find the missing thing that will make you complete, whatever that is, stillness, being mindfully aware, whatever it is. But actually, incredibly, what's been actually yearned for involves loss, complete loss, total loss of everything, which is very frightening, really. But then it's an apparent loss because you're not there anyway.
Yeah, that loss is not the me would normally think of loss as a change, but this loss is not a change.
It's just an apparent change. Like it's a it is a complete poverty. We kind of have such strong beliefs about what we know about life and the way it's this way or that way and how this person is and that person is and how the world should be. And maybe that's through our religious kind of filter, or maybe a political filter, or a sense of kind of an ideological filter, maybe like human rights or something, whatever it is. And we don't realize that these things are really just aspects of our sense of separation. So it is a complete loss in the sense that it's the scene that everything is a story, which is you felt when you were or you feel when you're living your life, you feel that it's real, and your perspective is true. Of course you do. So it's a real poverty in that sense. It's a loss of everything complete loss of everything. And because it's a scene that it's just actually it's just a narrative or a concept or a story or an abstraction or whatever. And in that then complete unknowing, then it's obvious to no one that there is nobody. There's just aliveness, peoples, and things appear this way or that way or the other way, or you know. But of course you can't, like, people try and imagine nothing. And of course, once you try and imagine it, it's something, you know. It can't be imagined or described or known, obviously. And it is everything, because energy, that's what all there is energy. Like, this is everything. This is everything. This is wholeness, completeness, everything. Zoom meeting. You know? I mean, even if we were all in a room together, and say I'm in Ireland, so if we're all in Ireland and we all gathered here, it would be the same thing that would be said. This is everything, actually, rooming. Whereas we appear to be all tuning in from different kind of areas of the globe and so on. So in that, it can even feel, maybe, you know, it's even more obvious that this is nothing. But, you know.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Hi, Kenneth.
Oh, Anisha, hiya.
Hiya. Yeah, it's full on aliveness.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of humor is arising. And I just want to share a story with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we slept on the same mattress in Amsterdam.
Oh, okay.
I slept gorgeous, yes.
Oh, that's because enlightened people, they kind of leave some energy behind them when they sleep.
Yes.
The reason you had such a good sleep is the energy that I imbued into the mattress.
Yes, I felt that. It was
Good,
gorgeous,
good,
really
good.
gorgeous. Thank you very much.
And you're very welcome. We'll call it a transmission. Yeah.
It was really wonderful.
There you go, Anita. Free fall.
Yes. Amazing. Yeah, maybe next time.
Who knows, Anisha? Who knows?
I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to me being in Amsterdam and you not coming to the meeting again. Because
Yeah,
maybe who knows? Who knows what's going to appear to happen? That's the beauty of it.
yeah, that's a beauty.
Nothing is required. Nothing is needed. There's simply whatever is appearing to happen.
Yes.
No, there's nothing needed at all. There's no knowledge of anything. You know, non-duality is a story. Obviously, there's no such thing. The meetings are an appearance. You either appear to be at them or you don't. Doesn't matter. So,
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It feels like I need assistance with my dad.
With your what?
With my dad.
With your death. Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it's been feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Mm. I almost contacted you
Assisted
earlier
dying.
this week. Yeah, death assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was contacting you this week, just like, man, I need assistance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you think about it, we're continually being assisted with our lives.
Mm.
We're just continually, constantly being advised about how we should live our lives and
Yeah,
what
well,
we should do and what we shouldn't do, and um yeah. So
well,
it's the antithesis of that, I guess, or I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but it's just directly going to the root and the direct suggestion that you don't have a life.
right.
And there you go. There's your death. There's your death that you were so worried about. You know, you were so worried about dying, and there you go. It's this. You know, that's the joke.
Yeah.
You know, nobody ever dies. They appear to die.
Yeah,
The story of you, the feeling of you can die,
yeah,
and then it just
that's
dies.
it.
It dies into a narrative. It's just clearly just a narrative then that is
Mm.
only
Yeah.
only an appearance. And what's hilarious about it is that it was all obviously always just that.
Oh, yeah.
So then, where's this thing called life and thing called death? Show it to me. Where is it? It's a dream. There's no thing called life and a thing called death.
Yeah, definitely.
How could there be? Like it's a complete abstraction. This thing we call death. It's just it's an idea. It's a concept. It's it's a it's just a dichotomy of that half alive feeling that you're living your life. So the empty thing then is death then. But if there's no sense of you living your life, where's this empty thing called death then?
It's a duality, isn't it, Kenneth? Just to
Yeah.
say death.
Yeah, death is it's like the we appear to live in a dualistic reality, and it's not even up for debate. Like it's just that's the way it is. You're living your life. You were born this time. You live your life and you die. And in that, then there's the dualistic reality: is life, death, good, bad, special, not special, inner, outer, all of these things. It's just that's an experienced, lived reality for the apparent individual. And for some, then it's just is what it's they feel like they're living their lives and that's it. And for some, well, for everyone really, but to a greater degree, maybe there's a sensitivity around it, that there's something about it that's very dissatisfying, because it is like a half alive thing. No matter how fully alive you feel, there's still a sense of you who feels alive. So there you go. And it's not that you go into dualism or a dualistic reality. It's like you are the dualistic reality, but you're not, as in you're only a story. But once there's a sense of being you, then that's it. Then it's a dualistic reality, and it like there's a really sense of an inner. Like I'm really in here. These are my internal organs here. This is my skin, and these are my words to you. Wow, it's amazing. Really? And you feel then you're kind of navigating your way through life and relating to other people, and all of that is real.
Hey, Kenneth.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Hi, Kelly.
Good to see you.
You too.
I'm just thinking something about, earlier you said something about everything is Zoom meeting.
So I think, yeah, you go ahead. I'm interrupting you. Go on.
Isn't it like, when that's being said, isn't it that just, it's being said that everything is particularizing? Which doesn't make any sense because it's nothing.
Yeah, I think the way I put it was maybe aliveness. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Aliveness is Zoom meeting. Yeah. So aliveness, wholeness, oneness, aliveness appears as Zoom meeting. But if you feel real, then everything is real then. And so there'd be a lived sense of a real thing called a Zoom meeting in which I'm participating then. That's really what I was saying.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think that's what I was saying.
I've heard something said like that before, like
Yeah.
everything is just a walling.
Yeah, of course. If you look at a wall, it feels like it's me looking at a wall if I feel like an individual. And if there's no this, you often hear people say it's like very mundane things, like I was saying at the beginning, like a carpet or a rug or a tree or whatever. Suddenly it's just that it's no longer a sense of me and the wall. There's no sense of me and the wall, but life is walling.
Yeah, it seems like
Wholeness
it's really
walling or
animated,
whatever it is.
like
Yeah.
there's animated particular.
Whatever it is, yeah, or it could be something a little bit more abstract, like a Zoom meeting. It doesn't, but the live Zoom meeting and live walling, it's all just energy. Whereas, of course, I can go up and knock on the wall and experience the solidity of it, but that doesn't. It's because I don't feel real or separate anymore. It's still life walling. But when you feel you're living your life, there's a subject-object reality in which you're seeing things and you're looking at something then. And then that's the wall then. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when there's a me is looking at a wall or a Zoom.
Yeah, there's not actually, the suggestion being made is there's never actually a me, but when a me appears, then when an individual appears, then it feels completely real then. And so in that lived reality, then there's me and the wall. I'm seeing the wall. The closest one I can see is about 5 foot away from me, 6 foot away from me. So there's that lived experience of me and the wall.
So when there's that, like almost like an offer of a lived experience of a me, it feels like a lot of pain, like physical pain that could happen. Like it's too painful.
Physical pain appears to happen. It's one of the things that appears to happen. Yeah, anything could appear to happen. But what did you say there? If there was no me, is that what you said? I didn't quite catch that.
No, I was just thinking that it just seems like when there's a me, or not an experience of a me, it's really uncomfortable. It seems, I don't know how to, it's hard to talk about this. Nobody wants.
It's totally impossible. So
Yeah.
the beautiful thing, the gorgeous thing is that you can't go wrong though.
No.
That's the gorgeous thing about these meetings, because you can't go right.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible to describe. So all anybody can do is just say what's appearing to happen. And like if someone says to me, oh, I feel like an individual, and the next person says, well, I don't feel like an individual, there's no difference for me.
No.
because I can't see an individual anyway. And if feeling like an individual is what's appearing to happen, it's what's appearing to happen. That's it's just aliveness as that. It's totally impossible. And it's not, we talk in this way, our there's a suggestion being made, and certain, you know, whatever the language is, but it's all an excuse for the resonance of the obviousness of this. That's not about knowing. There's just a sense of this, what's been said, but it's not about trying to grasp anything. Or like as soon as you grasp it, it'll slip through your fingers again, you know?
Yeah, it just seems like the talking has to particularize. Do a lot of particularizing.
Well, it's just that there's all I see is a conversation. This is just a conversation here, and a conversation to me is just energy. That's all all it is. And then a conversation, the vehicle of the conversation are words, you know, sentences, and within that, then there's a possibility of what's being conveyed can resonate, or it can more. What's more likely is just kind of a stay with the words, and stay with the concepts of that. Just that's okay too. That's just what happens. But if it's just staying with the words, then it's just a concept then, and it doesn't, you know, because what we're talking about is absolutely unknowable.
Yeah,
and absolutely indescribable. It cannot be described by anyone. Not because it's, you know, whatever, fireworky and esoteric and stunning and amazing. It just can't be described because it's just too immediately whatever's appearing to happen. It can't be described. It's like there's no way I could convey how simple it is, the whole suggestion, the whole how simple it is what's being looked for. It's impossible. And it's inescapable. So if there's confusion, well, that's what's going to happen. It's confusion. Everyone that listened to this Zoom today knows exactly what I'm talking about. But there may be possibly a sense of a me there that's kind of like an overlay onto that then, and that just plays out like it does. It was lovely to see everyone. I don't know if anyone has anything else burning or no. And yeah, just huge thanks for the support again. Like I really do mean it. It's as I said, I've just really taken my eye off the ball with YouTube. So that's what's happening. Got to kind of get my thinking cap on and see how I can. Well, I know there's some obvious things to do, but it's just great that I have support from Patreon and keep the meetings going. And I will finally get a lot of those blended meetings up as well. Long story with them, but that should be happening in the next week or two. And let's see what happens with them, but there'll be a lot of them will be available too. And the other thing is I'll be having a meeting in Galway soon. I'm not sure the exact date. It could be in the next week or two. And to get them up and running, I envisage that in such short notice now, there'll probably be maybe a couple of people, but I'll make it available to Patreon people. So you'll be able to join. And the idea is this, I have to start them for people to kind of to get there. So the idea is then that people will know they'll happen kind of once a month, and you guys can join virtually then as well. So see, it'd probably be a Friday evening, I think, either 6:30 or 7ish or something till about 8 on Irish time. That's the plan, and hopefully once a month then. And if people ever want to come over for them, I know some people just tie them in with a weekend or whatever. I can help anyone around getting to it. It's not actually hard to get there. You can get to there by public transport from Galway City. It's only about 25 minutes on a bus or whatever, and it's in a nice place called it's in this sanctuary in the woods there, and I've had plenty of meetings there before, so people are welcome over. And I think it's literally been nominal, kind of like €10 or something like that, because I just need to cover my cost of rent. Whereas when I travel abroad, obviously I have all these, I have to charge whatever. Oh yeah, Amsterdam, I'm working on, I just was waiting on, we actually use 2 phones in Amsterdam, so I'm going to try and match the audio, but I think they should be there soon enough. Thanks for the poem, Sheer. Who wrote that, Sheer? You always have some kind of quote from some poet or something. He's gone, is he? Anyway, it's a nice one. I didn't read it out, but I think everyone saw it there. Like Sufism or something. Anyway, guys, nice to see you. And yeah, see you again on Sunday, maybe some of you are next week. Thanks a million.
Thanks, Kenneth.
You
Thanks,
guys,
Kenneth.
Thanks, Kenneth.
bye. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.